attention. What I wear is not your business. Here I am in the gym in my bandeau top. Here I am walking down the street in thin leggings that show every bit of me. They turn no part of their mind toward modesty. And yet, we know that men are visual creatures. We know what it's like. Each of us in this world knows what it's like when, say, some image comes to your mind unbidden, or you see something that you didn't want to see, and then it's kind of stuck there, and it comes back to you. And it feels like a small assault, doesn't it? Like a little bit of a sexual assault every time you are forced to relive, say, walking in on someone doing something sexual that you didn't want to see, or if someone happens to be accidentally unclothed or naked in front of you. And yet, I just drove by this little shop in this tiny conservative town I live in that has this dress. I don't think it could even cover someone's nipples. And it's a shop run by a young woman. She's 22, and it's for young women. But are any of these young women thinking about the fact that this is a small sexual assault on men? When you put into a man's mind a picture of you half naked because you're walking around on the street that way, that visual mind, which we know men have, goes back to that over and over. If you wouldn't deliberately wear it in order to get sexual attention, or if that's not your intent in your heart, does that matter? Because that's the result of it anyway, right? And, you know, men might not even be attracted to you personally or looking to look at you in that way. But here you're putting it in their face. It's the same kind of thing to my mind as, you know, maybe walking in on someone or accidentally opening up a magazine and not realizing it was porn or something, and then it's stuck in your head and it comes back to you when you don't want it to, and it really is a small assault. And I'm trying to teach my two daughters about modesty and about respect for men and just for other people. How do we respect people when we stand on these ideas of, oh, it's my body, I'm going to be naked or half naked in the public square if I want to? It's not all about you. We live in a society. We live together. We have other people around us who have to look around. They have to see where they're going. They have to be able to do things in the world. And if we're out for attention in the middle of that in ways that are going to sear into someone's brain and maybe give them forever an uncomfortable connotation with us, that's probably not what we're looking for. That's probably not what we want. We make ourselves tools for the devil and for his use in making this world worse when we don't think about these things or talk about them. I really don't want to do that. And I really don't want my daughters doing that. And you know, I want there to be men in the world who can stand and be respected and be worth respect when they are adult and when they are old enough to be with men, be married to a man. How can we groom up for the world a generation of men who will look to guard the hearts and minds of their wives and daughters if we are yelling at them constantly that they have to let themselves be basically sexually assaulted in small ways at all times themselves? How is that possible? It isn't. We need to think about what we're doing as a society and as individuals so that we can build a better world. I want young men who aren't constantly driven toward perversion by images forced into their head, real or fake, online or in the real world. I want to be able to hope that will exist in the world when my children are older, so that they could marry someone who isn't just recovering from a childhood full of small abuses that have rotted their brain into a mush of constantly fighting temptation and constantly trying to avoid confusion because the world screams wrong things at them all the time. Let's think about these things so that we can make things better.